Hello everyone, Geshe Lake from India, from the Geshe Monastery, which is one of the important place for study the Vajrayana. So first I want to say Geshe Lake. So before we start our class, actual class, so we need to discuss I need to explain the importance of studying the Madhya Maka, the middle way. As I mentioned many times when I was in Singapore, the middle way approach is very important in our daily life, also important for every body in the world. Like eating in the middle way. If you eat, if you take very little food, you won't have enough energy in your body. If we eat a lot of every day, then we put weight on. So we must eat the middle way, not too much, not little. Also, drinking any kinds of drink, you must follow the middle way. Some of you like to drink alcohol, any kind of drink. You drink too much, it's very bad for your health. If you don't drink, anything, any kind of the alcohol, maybe you have some health issue. Therefore, the drink also the middle way. Also, when we talk to someone, of course, as a human being living in society, we need to discuss with someone. We need to talk to someone. Also, when we're talking to someone, make sure don't talk too much, don't talk little. If you talk too much, people feel very bored. If you talk very little, the people not clear what we think, what we say. Also, like exercise, yoga, whatever, we have to follow the middle way in our daily life. Then the second importance, the middle way of the view of middle way. For example, first we, talk about impermanence, like our life, our possessions, our belongings, all the condition phenomena which arise from causes and conditions are impermanent. Also, when we think about impermanent, we must think things are changing momentarily. It doesn't mean that the things won't continue, not exist continuously. So, the things are exist, mean free from the non-existence, but the condition phenomena is, kind of empty of permanent. Also, the middle way. Among the practices which is taught by Buddha, the first important reflection on or meditation on, so meditate on is impermanent. Early morning when you wake up, if you reflect on impermanence, particularly, your own death, is reduce your anger, attachment, all the negative thoughts can be reduced, can be controlled. Because we remember the death. Death will come, surely come, It can become any days, any time. If you think this way, then you can think, then you think, oh, there's no point to argue with my friends and families. There's no point. My mind is fully attached with this life. My mind is my attachment. My mind is fully, stick in this only this lifetime. It reminds you, we every day, every moment, we need to do the preparation to live this world. So, beginning of your practice, remember impermanence. At the end of your daily practice, remember impermanence and death. Then all your merit, all the positive actions you will dedicate for the meaningful way. You will dedicate to benefit for all sentient beings, not only me. So at the beginning, your meditation practice must start it with the impermanence. So impermanence also kind of middle way, free from the nihilism, non-existent, but empty of be a permanent. Then the most important, the middle way view is view of emptiness, viewing on emptiness. Until today, for countless eons, we are always born, been in samsara. In the past, millions of billions of countless eons, we were always in samsara. Our mind, also we always thoughts, we always think, I want to be free from suffering. I don't want any sufferings. But our mind, so we fully, attach with the ignorance. The ignorance is look like a very strong, powerful change is tied with your feet. So it doesn't matter where you go, what kind of act you are acting, still your leg is tied with a very strong and powerful change, which is the ignorance. Why the ignorance is so strong? The ignorance is always with us for billions of years. It's always there. It's always arise for 24 hours in 7. Therefore, it's a very strong. It's never going to be weak. It's still, getting stronger and stronger. But the attachment, anger can arise sometime. It can be, disappear sometime. The ignorance is always there. Therefore, it's so strong. The ignorance is not only be strong, it's a very powerful. Because the ignorance polluted with all our consciousness, eye consciousness, air consciousness, hearing consciousness, all the thoughts, all the minds diluted by ignorance. That the ignorance become very important trigger to engage into actions, mostly the negative actions. Therefore, the ignorance is not only be strong, is a very powerful. Always need to remember, so me and my mind, me actually, always tied with the ignorance, which is very strong, getting more stronger and very powerful. Therefore, I need to cut the powerful and be, the very strong, the change of ignorance. Then how we can cut, how we can, destroy the strong and powerful, the change of ignorance. Definitely not only prayers, definitely cannot be destroyed by reciting mantra. If it is that simple, is simply, you can destroy the ignorance, then there's not really, point to talk so many different kinds of teaching by Buddha. Therefore, the view of the middle way, which is the emptiness, is the excellent, powerful, like a tool to destroy the strong and powerful ignorance. Therefore, somehow, when we have a free time, so when you want to do, study and practice, always start to read, the books for realizing emptiness. Read books, particularly the intermediate with the commentary for understanding perfectly the emptiness. And also I mentioned many times, I said many times, I used to say many times. So when we just simply think about emptiness, yes, look like so difficult to understand. Look like it is impossible for us to realize emptiness. In one hand, yes, it's very difficult. There's a few reasons. Reason number one, so until this life, we never ever heard about emptiness. We never ever have a chance to listening, teaching on emptiness. The first time we are hearing, teaching on emptiness. Number two, the billions of the countless eon, we have a very strong habits to, perceive, to hold our mind with the inherent existent phenomena. For us, when we think about a person, when we think about any other phenomena, for us, everything real there. Nothing to do with my own conception, nothing to do with my own projections. Look like things are there, like a flower. So when we think flower, we think the flower is naturally beautiful by their own rights, from their own modes. It's come there. So when we, through analysis, when we analyze the flower, then slowly, gradually, we're going to understand that the flower is so beautiful, so nice, but it doesn't exist by their own side, by their own modes. It's mainly my own projection, which is we say beautiful. When we say ugliness, is by our own projection. Nothing really exists from by their own modes or their own side, by themselves. So it is very, very the most important for us to study emptiness. Therefore, number one, we feel it's difficult. We heard the first time in our life, billions of life. Second, we have a very strong, kind of imprint. We have a very strong, habituation to hold thing as a inherently existent. Then number three, so when we try to realize emptiness, we always follow the wrong track. So therefore, we cannot really able to realize emptiness. Therefore, we need to walk the right paths. to realize emptiness, which is the entering middle way, the commentary by Lama Tsongkhapa. Therefore, beginning of our class, everybody must cultivate strong, inspiration, motivation for realizing emptiness, to destroy, to eliminate the root of the samsara, the root of the suffering, which is ignorance. The ignorance is so strong, so powerful, not easy to destroy it unless we realize emptiness. Therefore, always remember, realizing emptiness is the most important for us. Therefore, rest of the teaching taught by Buddha is mainly means a way to entering into emptiness. Therefore, please remember. Then how we can realize emptiness? Then I said many times, just you use simply, you reflect on a one just particular object. The object can be a cup, object can be flower, the object can be, you can use the car, whatever object you have. You use one object every day for analyzing the things exist or not. First thing, for example, the flower in your house. Is the flower exist or not? Yes, the answer must be yes, the flower exists because I can touch, I can taste the fragrance, I can see the color, I can feel the things around us. That means the flower exists. Second, then how the flowers exist? It exists by their own side, exists by their own way, or it depends on something else. First, you think, you must think, yeah, the flower exists by their own. Then think, if this is the case, the flower exists, the flower arises by their own way, own side, own modes, then why the flower need water? Then why does the flower need soil? Why the flower does need like a heat, light, like pots? Why the flower need person to take care the flower? This means now it's a very clear, logics, indication. The flower always depends on causes and condition. The flower cannot exist by themselves, by itself. That means depend on causes condition. If the flower depends on causes condition, the flower is empty of inherently existent. Therefore, he's talk about the for extreme. Therefore, you just reflect on one object for a few weeks. When you reflect on a particular object for a few weeks, then slowly you can have an experience. The flower, which is you reflect on it, is look like a bunch of particles moving there. For us, it is appear to us is very solid. So when you reflect the actual reality of the flower or cup or mobile phone, it's not like billions of particles just moving around. Still, when you watch more closely, look like you are really entering in the flower, in the cup. You cannot see the cup. You reach close to the cup, you cannot find the cup. If you really enter inside the cup, inside the thing, you cannot see the cup. So when you get out from the cup, other side, still you can see the things behind you. Means it's very clear indication that things exist, but not exist as appear to us. Is the symbol the best example we can use to the flower is not exist inherently. For example, look at the rainbow in the sky. In order to appear the rainbow in the sky, so the sky must need few conditions. Number one, the sky need the sun lights or maybe other very powerful lights. Condition number two, the weather must be quite clear. If the weather is too foggy, you cannot see the rainbow. If the weather, the cloud is too clean, you cannot see. So this is second condition. The third condition, when you see the rainbow somewhere, there must be raining around that area. So when we watch the colorful rainbow, it looks so beautiful. So when you walk closer and closer, you can see kind of very blurry, blurred color, not so beautiful. When you really just enter in the clouds, there's no more, you cannot see the rainbow. But it doesn't mean the rainbow is not there. It's there, but it's not there as we believe. Just simply appear there with a lot of condition. We cannot really, catch that rainbow, say, oh, this is the rainbow which I found in the sky. Likewise, all the phenomena around us, particularly our body, which is the emptiness, the phenomena, our body, then the person, ourselves, person, being, the agent, all like a rainbow. Rainbow exists, but merely appear to us, mainly depends on many causes, condition. Then there's a lot of causes, condition. The causes, condition produce a lot of different kinds of result. Then simply we designate it rainbow. We designate as a cup. We designate as a flower. But from their side, there's nothing. Therefore, today we discuss with the four extremes. So first we do in a simple revision what we discussed the last Sunday. Page number 191, 191. How the meaning of the scripture is established by reason. Look at the sentence at the beginning. How the meaning of which is the meaning is emptiness. The meaning of scripture is established by reason. It's like Heart Sutra, rest of the wisdom teaching. They always, explain, teach us emptiness. Emptiness of the form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is not other than the form or emptiness. Yes, the Buddha said things, all the phenomena, the nature is emptiness. Then how we can believe, how we can follow after Buddha, how we can just simply, can trust to Buddha, which Buddha said, the phenomena, the nature is emptiness. The second, we not just simply believe his teaching, we need to apply, we need to use the proper logics and reasoning to prove what the Buddha said is true. Therefore, the meaning of the scripture is established by reason. Therefore, in Buddhism, without logic and reasoning, we cannot really accept Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Karma, previous life, next life, dependent origin. Whatever we believe, what we ever accept basis on logics and reasoning, and also just mentioned by Buddha, still we must rely on more logics and reasoning. This has two parts. establishing the selflessness of person, phenomena, through reasoning and establishing self of the person through reasoning. That means two types of selflessness or two types of emptiness. Selflessness of the person through reasoning, establishing the selflessness of the person through reasoning. That means two types of emptiness, the two types of selflessness, which is emptiness of the phenomena, emptiness of the person. Both of them we need to establish through reasoning. Two parts. Establishing the selflessness of the phenomena through reasoning, it has four parts. Number one, refuting arising from the four extreme on the both levels of the truth. Refuting arising from the four extremes on the both level, which is conviction and ultimate level. That means Pasangika totally refute arising from the four extremes in the conventional level and the ultimate level. Then cannot accept any of the four arisings. Then number two, rebutting objection against refuting the intrinsic arising. So they refute the four extremes directly, then kind of indirectly they refute arising from intrinsic. They're refuting the intrinsic arising. When Pasangika refuted the intrinsic arising, then there's a lot of argument from other tenets, other proponents. So also they respond when they argue, when they debate. Then number three, how arising through dependent origination prevent the distortion, adhering to extensive view. So how arising, how we will, we're going to realize, we're going to understand through dependent origination, prevent the distortion of mistaken view of adhering to extreme view. And number four, the fruits of having engaged in analysis with reasoning. The first is the refuting arising from the four extreme on both levels of the truth. It has three parts. Number one, starting the proposition that there's no arising through intrinsic nature. The logical proofs that the establishing this through reasoning. Number three, the conclusion of having negated arising from the four extreme. Within the number one, starting the proposition that means proposition or commitments or statement. There's no arising through intrinsic nature. Simple, they make a statement. They have a proposition. Mean this is my position, which is there's no arising through intrinsic nature. There's a arising, but not arising through intrinsic nature. This is the kind of very strong statement from the Pasangika. Understanding that in order to understand arising through, there's no arising intrinsic nature, out of the 10 perfect equanimities, I hope all of you can remember what are the 10 equanimities. The other perfect equanimity can be easily indicate by perceiving through the reasoning and perfect equanimity of absence of arising through intrinsic nature alone. So when we realize that absence of arising through intrinsic nature, then we easily can understand the rest of the nine equanimity. Therefore, just after the salutation to the Dharma by Nagarjuna, then right away they said, not from himself, not from others, not from both, not from no cause. There's the four kind of statements, the four proposition. Not from itself, not from other, not from both, not from the cause, no cause. Remember the four statements. Then this the anywhere, ever, at all, the three words is very important. You need to know the meaning. Even is, right? Nothing anywhere, even possesses arising at all. Even, what does mean even? Even is synonymous with or on any occasion. That means none of the phenomena can arise from the four extreme, any occasion. Any occasion, ever is synonymous. While the words anywhere, nothing anywhere, what does mean anywhere? Which is synonymous with in any place. There's no any arising, any occasion. There's no arising from the four extreme for any occasion, for any time, right? Any time. Indicate place, time, and philosophical standpoint. Anywhere is indicate the place. Ever is indicate the time and philosophical standpoint. I think arising at all. Yeah, at all is indicate the philosophical standpoint or philosophical standpoint. Mean there's no arising from any of the extreme by power of Pasangika school, by power of Chitta Mantra school. But they believe, but in the reality, it cannot be arising from the four extreme by Pasangika, from Pasangika, from Chitta Mantra, so and so standpoint. The words nothing refer to things of the inner and outer that do not arise in any of these three terms. The inner, the outer, any of the inner outer phenomena not arising from the four extreme, any occasion, any time, also any occasion, any place, any philosophical standpoints. Thus, the meaning of this stanza that begins not from itself as follow. So the rest of the words I left for you as a homework. So now, last time somebody asked, yes, I can understand, kind of say, there's no, nothing, not from itself, but why not from other? So register from the other. So between and almost one and a half pages is mainly discuss how to break down the stanza, how to break down the stanza, also explain. So each of the statement you say, not arising not from itself, any occasion, any time, any philosophical standpoint. Not arising from other, any occasion, any place, any philosophical standpoint. There's no arising from both, any occasion, mean any time, any place, any philosophical standpoint. Arising from both, the impossible for any place, so any time, any place, any philosophical standpoints. Arising from causeless, also impossible to arise from causeless, any occasion, any place, any philosophical standpoint. Mean there's no self-arising anywhere, any place. Wherever you go, you cannot find self-arising. Arising is self. Also, if you go like summer, winter, autumn, morning, evening, you cannot find, arising is self according to different time. That means anywhere, anytime, any standpoint, there's no arising from the for extremes. For extreme. One second. Let me on the light because it's raining. Okay, now we start the page number 193 from the second paragraph. Things do not arise from other at any place, at any time, or because of any philosophical stand. Is how the three times should be applied. Similarly, the following appear in the clear words. We accept conventional truth to be established by mere conditioners, not on the basis of adhering to any of the four positions. Chandrakirti said very simply, we accept what they accept. They accept conventional truth to be established by mere conditioners. That means we accept conventional truth, cause and condition, arising, decay, impermanent. We accept mere conditioners, established by mere conditioners, not on the basis of adhering to any of the four positions. That means we accept arising on the basis of mere conditioners, not on the basis of the four positions. To do so entail the consequences of speaking of the thing as endowed with the intrinsic nature. Now it's become more clear what does mean, what the meaning of not arising from other. The next stanza. So arising from other is not a convention of the scripture. It is convention of philosophical schools. So arising from other or not, it is not the convention. It's kind of no discussion between in the scripture. It is convinced in a kind of agreement or disagreement or convention between different philosophical schools. It is convention of the philosophical school. Furthermore, when arising from other is proposed, what does, when the meaning of arising from other is proposed, it is done so on the assumption that the other is, what does mean other? The other is something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic. You can read few times. Arising other is not a convention of the scriptures. It is a convention of philosophical schools. Furthermore, when arising from other is proposed, it is done so on the assumption that other is something that exists, how exists? Exists by way of intrinsic characteristics. Something that exists by way of the intrinsic characteristic. Read a few times. Okay. The next sentence, therefore, if one, so any of us accept such as arising from other, mean one naturally subscribes, naturally you accept, you believe to the notion that things are endowed with an intrinsic nature. Mean, accepting arising from other, mean you are accepting, you are believing something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic. Also, if you believe there's a arising from other, mean if one accepts such as arising from other, one naturally subscribe, naturally you believe, you are saying to the notion that things are endowed with an intrinsic nature. In this Chandrakirti tradition, however, arising from other does not exist. Clear? Arising from other does not exist even on the conventional level. Arising from other does not exist conventional level, does not exist ultimate level true. Doesn't mean they don't accept arising from other. Mean you need to know the definition or the statement, what does mean not arising from other. Is very clear that other is something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic. Therefore, if one accepts such as arising, one naturally subscribes to the notion that things are endowed with the intrinsic nature. In this Chandrakirti tradition, however, arising from other does not exist even on the conventional level. Then again, all of you have a doubt. Then how come the result and cause and result are, other is different each other. The cause is not the result is not the cause. These two are totally distinct. Mean the cause is other than the result is other than the cause. Therefore, the result, the fruits, must be arise from other because the cause is other than the result. The answer is here again. But we accept cause and effect to be distinct entity on the conventional level. Yes, we accept cause and effect to be distinct, to be separated, to be separate, to be distinct entities on the conventional level. But this alone does not meet the criteria of what constitute arising from other. The cause is other than the result. The result is arising from cause. It doesn't mean, the Pasangika except arising from other. Just be, distinct, the cause and effect is distinct. It doesn't mean they accept arising from other. But this alone does not meet the criteria of what constitutes arising from other. This is analogous to the following as is studied, giving that each and every phenomena bear or has the dual nature on the conventional level. The nature is something that does exist, but such as nature is not accepted in terms of the intrinsic arising. That means each and every phenomena has the dual nature, dual nature on the conventional level. The nature is something that does exist, but such as nature is not accepted in the intents of the intrinsic arising. Then the quotation from the clear words states the thesis that things are devoid from arising from themselves is the non-implicative negation, and this is true also of the other three positions. So the other proposition. Therefore, when establishing the absence of intrinsic existence, the thesis to be established must be a non-implicative negation. That is the simply elimination of what is the being negated. Now let's talk about the two kinds of negation. So we start first. So you need to be very clear. The state that the thesis that things are devoid, empty of arising from themselves, arising from other, arising from both, arising from causeless. That means devoid, empty of set arising, empty of arising from other, empty of arising from both, empty of arising from causeless. So the four oppositions themselves is non-implicative negation. That means non-implicative negation, then implicative negation. There's two types of negation. So this also extremely important. Need to know the definition, the meaning of non-implicative negation and implicative negation. So today we study a little bit the two kinds of negation. Therefore, when establishing the absence of intrinsic existence, the absence of intrinsic existence, absence of inherent existence, absence of substantial existence, all of them, non-implicative negation. Existence, the thesis to be established must be non-implicative negation. That is, a simple elimination of what is being negated. That means when we say devoted of inherent existence, empty of inherent existence, we negate the inherent existence. We negate the self-arising, right? Therefore, here said the simple elimination of what being negated. So we eliminate the four extremes. This is started by a clear words when it to say. Now there's a quotation from Chandrakirti. Since statements such as whatever sound they are, is that world, they are all unreal. Nothing exists or found. The intention is to express the negation without implication. So the meaning of unreal reality here is absence of intrinsic reality. Therefore, we have seen many words unreal. What does mean unreal? It doesn't mean the water is no real water. It doesn't mean the fire is no real fire. If the water is real water, the fire is real fire, the human being is real human being. The real mean, the unreal mean, here is absence of intrinsic existence. Unreal mean absence of the intrinsic existence. Also, the commentary says, having studied the four theses, now to establish the through reasoning I will explain. Later on, using the negation of arising from the four extremes as the reason, things are spoken by the being of free intrinsic arising. So then I think we just go over. Then there's some quotation clearly explain the absence of intrinsic existence. Now please turn on the page number 195. After the quotation, as for the reasons why, although one accepts the thesis, the proof suggests as this, one does not become the Savadantika Madhyamaka. I have explained this extensively elsewhere. So I will not elaborate further here. So there's a kind of little bit Q&A about according to the Pasangika. So Savadantika, they said, and I'm not going to repeat. I already explained because you remember in the class. How then are the true form of negation defined? Two kinds of negation defined. How then are the true forms of negation defined? In general, negation is cognized by the mind on the basis of explicit elimination of the relevant object of negation. So that the determination of something as not being that which is not itself. So for the next Sunday, we will have a class on next Sunday. The next Sunday we will precisely, slowly we will study about the two kinds of, two types of negation. At the beginning question, how then are the two forms of negation identified? which is non-implicative negation, the implicative negation. Without having the clear understanding of the true form of negation, then we not going to understand the emptiness. Yeah, okay, so we have maybe 20 minutes. For the 20 minutes, we can have a Q&A. There's something I need to clarify, please let me know. Then we can stop our class.
Dear Geshe,
Hmm?
last week, Geshe mentions that Geshe is going to explain the meaning of arising from others. Would Geshe kindly explain that, or it will be in the next class?
Oh, you, I think you are slept. I have been explaining that actually today I emphasize the meaning of not arising from others. Okay, so I will explain one more very shortly. Page number 193 from the second stanza. Things do not arising from other at any place, at any time, or because of any philosophical stand, is how the three terms should be applied. Similarly, the following appear in the clear words. Then there's a quotation. Then after the quotation, so arising from other is not a convention of the scripture, it is the convention of philosophical school. Generally, arising from other or not is not the convention of the scripture, is mainly convention of the philosophical school. Furthermore, when arising from other is proposed, it is done so on the assumption that the other is something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic. So this is the meaning or definition of arising from other. When arising from other proposed, it is done so on the assumption that the other is something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic. Therefore, if one accepts such as arising, if you accept arising from other, one naturally subscribes to the notion that things are endowed with an intrinsic nature. So if you accept, first you explain what does mean arising from other. Second, if you accept arising, such as arising from other, then naturally you described to the notion that things are endowed with the intrinsic nature. In this Chandrakirti tradition, however, arising from other does not exist even on the conventional level, but we accept cause and effect to be distinct entities on the conventional level. But this alone, just the cause and effect is distinct entity. This alone does not meet the criteria of what constitutes arising from other. This is analogous to the following as studied, giving that each and every phenomenon bear or has the dual nature on the conventional level. The nature is something that does not exist, but such as nature is not accepted in terms of the intrinsic arising. Right? Now you can read a few times this page, then you will understand what does mean arising from other. Again, make sure arising from other is proposed by Chitta Mantra school. It is done so on the assumption that the other is something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic. So something that exists by way of intrinsic characteristic is the meaning. Meaning is the definition of arising from other. When you believe into arising from other, directly when you say, I believe arising from other, then indirectly you're going to subscribe to the nation, the things endowed with the intrinsic nature. Quite clear?
Pardon, Geshe-la, actually not clear. The words is
I cannot
quite difficult.
make more clear than that. So all of you have to read. Yeah.
Geshe-la, does it mean that so this arising from others, to understand that, first of all, arising from others is actually the idea of Chittamatra school. Is it correct? Arising from others is the idea from Chittamatra. Chittamatra school say mainly Chittamatra school, they assert that things arise from others. These others, not ordinary others. It is others that is intrinsically existent others, right?
Yes, yes.
So Chittamatra says,
simply we can say intrinsically existent cause produce intrinsically existent effort. Intrinsically existent effort, produce from intrinsically existent cause. This is the definition of arising from. Arising from other. Arising from other is not just simply the cause and effect is a distinct characteristic. This only is not enough criteria to constitute arising from other, right? Yeah, so arising from the Pasangika reject arising from other, mean they mainly reject the point of view from Chitta Mantra. And also they reject arising from causeless, mean they actually mainly reject the nihilist school. What do you call this one? Sankhya. Yeah, Sankhya tradition. Then both, arising from other and arising from self is also rejected one of the non-Buddhist philosophical school. Yes, next question.
Thank you, Geshe-la. The next question is it's quite difficult to translate over here.
It's okay. You can take
time. It says that the criteria saying that results and cause are different. Distinct does not enough to negate constitute born from others. Meaning does it mean that we cannot only say someone cannot say that because cause and result are distinct, therefore born from others exist? It has to be the intrinsic result are produced from the intrinsic others, which is the cause. This is the actual meaning of the assertion, born arising from others. Is it correct?
It's very correct.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the conclusion. Okay, next question.
Currently, no question, Geshe-la.
Okay, no question mean I think all of you are very clear about the meaning, or you are totally confused. I don't know which one you are. So I know when you read the root text, the commentary, the technical term is not easy to understand. And please don't just be, discouraged. Also, don't simply give up. You need to push yourself to understand the, absence of the four extreme. When you reject the arising from four extreme, in the other hand, you need to establish, things arise merely conditioners. Mean no arising from other, no sorry, first not arising, not self arising, not arising from itself mean is arising depends on other. Then not arising from other, you must need to know how to reject, how to negate. Arising from other mean, yes, inherently existent cause cannot produce the inherently existent effort. Then inherently existent effort or result cannot produce by the inherently existent cause, but the merely cause produce the result. The result just arising merely causes a condition. Then causeless is quite easy. Then when you fully understood, there's no self arising, no arising from other, no arising from both, no arising causeless, then indirectly, then you need to realize there's nothing really exists inherently. All phenomena, the nature is empty of inherent existence. This means your understanding is more closer to realize emptiness. So don't give up, should not be discouraged. Study continuously, read the commentary books very continuously. And also, if you able to pay, you wish to pay, I think that you must attend the Lama Tsongkhap teaching something, Tubden Chimba, right? I think he's going to explain this text. It's translated by him. He's going to have a class about the Lama Tsongkhap teaching. It's look a bit expensive. If you wish to attend, I think it can be, it can be one of the best, like a teaching for you to study emptiness. So I think I saw in the Facebook, Lama Tsongkhap something, right? Have you seen Sonam?
Sorry, Geshe-la, I have not seen that.
Okay, so you just check the Tubden Jimba. I have seen many times the last week. I was thinking a bit expensive, but I think will be very good if you're able to, you can get really good benefit when you able to attend. Anyway, when I found, I will forward in the WhatsApp, then you can, share with our Dharma friends. Okay, everybody, so.
Sorry, Geshe-la. Sorry, Geshe-la, there's one follow-up questions. Maybe can we still take that question?
Yes, why not?
Okay, it is about the negation, the indicative and non-indicative. Why is it important or necessary to understand the two negation in order to understand emptiness?
Yeah. So next Sunday, we will study more precisely these two important the subject. Is the simple example I can tell you. So you went to one place, somehow naturally you believe there's a ghost. There's a ghost. in order to free from the sense of scary in the house, you totally need to eliminate the concept of believing in the ghost. So in your mind, you really need to say there's no ghost. Simply, you need to negate the idea of ghosts in the house. For example, when you say, I don't eat like a meat, simply you negate eating meat. Indirectly, you're not saying, I'm not taking meat, still I add banana, I add, like an apple, I add rice. No, simply you just, negate eating meat. Indirectly, you're not saying anything. So in your mind, when you negate the inherent existence, simply your mind just catch up the empty or non-inherent existence. Then should not have a thought, not exist inherently, but exist conventionally. No, just stop, keep thinking there's nothing else, just negate the inherent existence in your minds. Just that's it. Merely you need to, catch the empty of inherent existence, nothing else. If your mind has a little bit other kind of, idea or concept, that means you're not meditating on a non-implicative negation. It's become the implicative negation. That means your mind cannot be totally free from the grasping on the true existence. So this one we study with the analogy on next Sunday. And thank you so much for asking all the questions. I wish you have a happy Sunday. So we do dedication for realizing emptiness based on the root text. All of you can unmute and you can read the stanza, the dedication prayers, and read slowly.